There are issues in which the law too often feels as if it is being applied in a discriminatory fashion.
Long after this tragic story no longer receives this level of attention, the Justice Department will continue to stand with Ferguson. We will continue the conversation this incident has sparked about the need for trust building between law enforcement officers and the communities that they serve.
Well, President Obama and Attorney General Holder calling for social justice in Ferguson, Missouri. But why this case and why now? Colonel Alan West says that it's all about scoring political points. Good morning and thanks for being with us.
Good morning, Anna, and howdy from College Station, Texas.
Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, jinx on you. You got to buy me a Coke later. So what do you mean this is all about politics?
Well, there is no doubt that it is. As a matter of fact, when you look at all the other cases out there in the reverse, you can go right down to Virginia, where 4 black gang members brutally carjacked a reserve police officer by the name of Captain Kevin Quick and killed him. But yet Eric Holder says that the death penalty had to be taken off of that case. We saw out in Spokane, Washington, where 2 black teenagers bludgeoned to death a World War II Okinawa veteran. There was nothing said there. Down in East Central Oklahoma, the Australian baseball player who was killed by multiracial and to include black teenagers, there was no emphasis there. The black teenager that shot a toddler, a white toddler, in the face with a .22 caliber pistol, nothing there. And Brendan Tevlin, not too far from you, in New Jersey, who was killed by a black man stating that he was a jihadist. There was no emphasis there. The Georgia Democratic Party even used mail pieces to emphasize that if you voted for a Republican candidate in that Senate race, you could possibly have a Ferguson in the state of Georgia. So this is all about politics.
Well, you mentioned it being about politics. We saw Al Sharpton there, many saying that he was just agitating the situation and fanning the flames, but people said he was doing that to stay relevant, right? This is how he makes money. But why does the president need to do this? Why does Eric Holder need to do this?
Because, for one thing, Eric Holder said that he is very fine with being an activist, and this is their definition of social justice. And this is once again being a part of the grievance industry and the race baiting industry that continues to keep the black community in a situation of economic servitude. And also it is about electoral votes. But the unfortunate and sad thing is that no one is looking at this and the consequences of Michael Brown and his actions and what it resulted in, tragically, his death. So we really need to have the discussion in the black community about families being together, about education, about young black men having respect for authority and better jobs and education opportunities. The left, the progressive socialists, Barack Obama, Eric Holder, they don't want to have that discussion.
Well, and you think that they should, rather than doing this cherry picking. What also seemed ironic about all of this is that on Tuesday, the president spoke out in Chicago about the situation going on in Ferguson. Now, the violence in Chicago, we all know that there's been a huge problem there for quite some time. In fact, we have some data now that between October or through October, there were 331 homicides just from January to October of this year. January to September, 135 homicides between the ages of 17 to 25-year-olds. So what's the problem? Why wasn't this mentioned at least for 1 or 2 sentences?
Because that does not fit the narrative, Anna, and you know that. That does not help them in promulgating a message of victimization and victimhood. And Jesse Jackson Jr. Senior lives in Chicago. Where is he on that issue? Barack Obama is from Chicago. Where is he on this issue and speaking out about it? It does not help their political agenda whatsoever. So therefore, when you have a Trayvon Martin case, when you have a Michael Brown case, that falls right into their lap, and that gives them that opportunity instead of really focusing on what ails the inner city and the black community, which is the failure of progressive socialist policies.
Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, thank you so much for your time today, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, Anna.
Thanks. 20 minutes after the hour.